Hello everybody. Welcome. Today we are going to take a look at the iPad Pro. That is the iPad Pro 11-inch 128 gigabyte 2020 model. I'm going to open these two right here so that we can take a good close look at the difference between the space gray version versus the silver version. Now I know there are lots of other things to consider about this iPad, but really I just want to know what's the difference between these two main colors. Are you ready? Let's do it. Alright, let's start with this one. This is the space gray version right here. I'm going to open it up real quick. Woohoo. Okay, here it is. Now, while I'm opening up, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the new iPad Pro 2020 model is all about. This iPad is by far so ahead of its time amongst all the iPads and amongst all the tablets out there on the market right now. This iPad is so fast, the camera is incredibly amazing, and the screen is absolutely wonderful. The screen goes all the way around to the edge, all the way. There are no buttons, and the screen picture quality is gorgeous. Now, I'm not just talking about the screen picture quality, as in the pixels and the colors and the sharpness. I'm also talking about the motion of the picture on the screen. This is a special 120 hertz screen, which means that instead of 60 frames per second on a normal iPad or tablet screen, this has 120 frames per second. So when you move things around on the screen or touch, you're going to notice that things just look smoother than water. It's just so smooth. And imagine using that all the time on your fresh, new, super thin, super fast, powerful iPad that has a camera that is just unbelievable. It's one of Apple's best cameras, if not the best cameras. It's a double camera with an ultra wide lens. It's like the iPhone 11 camera. And we're gonna do some tests and just take a look at how amazing the picture quality is on this camera. But anyway, this is the space gray. Let's take a look. It's the darker one. It's a dark gray here. I'm just gonna open it up. Let's put it right here. Oof, look at this beauty. This is the dark gray or space gray model, and it's really a very nice dark. Now, people like dark items because they don't get dirty as quickly, but I mean, you're really not going to get your iPad dirty. I mean, unless you leave it around on the table with no case, or you take it outside and you put it on like cement seating areas or on the floor or on a bench. So you're not really worried about getting it dirty. You're just worried about it looking really chic and really nice. And that's what this space gray looks like to me. Now here's the screen as I was telling you about. I've got to turn this thing on. But if you look closely, you can see that it's just a screen all the way around. I mean, this device is really a dream come true. None of the other iPad models are like this. They still have the home button, and they still have like a fat black area on the bottom and a non-screen area on the top as well. And this one doesn't have that. It's just screen all the way around. So gorgeous to look at, so gorgeous to hold and use. Let's take a look at the silver one now, shall we? Okay, I'm going to put this one away and then jump to that one. All right, and this here is the silver. Again, this is the iPad Pro 11-inch. Keep in mind there's a 12.9-inch, which is identical to this iPad, but bigger. And I think this size is really cool because the huge one, I mean, it's just a bit huge. This is really like a nice handheld size. So, I mean, leave your feedback in the comments. What do you think? Do you like the 12.9-inch or do you like the 11-inch? My other iPad is a 12.9-inch, and I love it. But if I got a new one from the 2020 models, I don't know. I feel like I might want the 11-inch. Not sure. Just because it's just small and easy to carry, but still has a huge screen. It's amazing. Okay, now let's look at the silver model, shall we? I always like to unwrap these things so carefully, like I don't want to get fingerprints on it or anything. I know there are some people who are just like, and they throw everything out, but that's not me. I like to take my time with it and keep it really neat and clean. You know, one day I may want to box everything back up and get it ready for a new person to buy it off of me. So when that happens, I want it to look as new as possible. So it's like they get to unbox it all over again. They get to enjoy the unboxing experience, even though they're buying it used. And I'm pretty good at it too. I think whenever I resell a device, I pack it all up exactly the way it was when I bought it. Ooh, wow. So this is the silver. You know, I didn't think that I was going to like the silver that much, but it looks really amazing. I really like it. It's a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. It looks a little bit lighter in color than what I expected. I thought it was going to be like a slightly more darker. It just looks really bright, almost like white. It looks like a white iPad. From the front, it's exactly the same as the other one. So it's just got the black screen with the black bevel. It doesn't have a white bevel because some other iPads, you know, if you get the white version or the black version, it's got a white bevel around the screen. These are both, I like that they made them black all around because it just makes it look more like screen, but these are both just screen all around. I'm going to try to hold both at the same time. I hope I don't drop them. Okay, let's see. Again, without touching the screen, it's kind of hard because you don't want to get fingerprints on them. Okay, so as you can see from the front, you almost can't tell. I mean, I know you can see the edges a little bit, but from the front, basically the same iPad. But from the back, two completely different iPads. Okay, now buying two nearly $1,000 iPads to compare the colors, that objective is complete. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. I'm just kidding. We're not done here yet. A couple more things I want to go over with you with these two beautiful devices. By the way, I think these devices are like 10 years ahead of their time. And what that means is they're so advanced now that for 10 years they will still be advanced and still very usable and still great iPad. That's how far ahead of the competition I think these iPads are. And I know this because I'm familiar with these devices. I have used them and I've read in-depth reviews about the specs and the performance. So I'm well aware of what they're capable of, even though I'm getting my hands on them for the first time here right now and I'm very excited. I can still tell you that these devices are just amazing. And now that I'm seeing them in person, that feeling is reinforced. Okay, so like I said, I still have a few more things to go over with you here. First, I would like to pair up the silver iPad with this wireless pair of headphones that I bought in white to match the white color. And likewise over here, I also have a black pair of the same headphones. These headphones are made by a company called Jlab. They are wireless headphones. They come with their own magnetic case, and the performance on them is supposed to be pretty good. And the reason why I chose this particular pair over the so many other pairs of wireless headphones out there is because, believe it or not, these were only $29.99. That's $30 for a wireless pair of headphones. And I don't know about you, but when you spend a whole lot of money on a bunch of hardware, you kind of want to look for ways to save some money. And buying $250 pairs of AirPod Pros on top of that would have really added up quickly. Plus, I kind of wanted something different. I want to learn more about the different devices out there, and I figured, hey, $30, I want to know how these perform for $30. And then the matching colors just made it even more fascinating to me. So we're going to open these up and pair them and see. Now what I'm expecting is that I can put them in the case to charge, and I think that's important because I don't want to have to keep plugging chargers into wireless headphones, and that's usually what you have to do with cheap wireless headphones. But with this, you get to just charge the case just like you would for AirPods, and at the same time, they are really cheap. Okay, so let's see what these look like. Ooh, so they're not closed. They're not closed from the top. You actually can see the headphones right in the case. Ooh, and I can feel the magnet. So let me just. Ooh, that's satisfying. And if you look, you can see. Oh, there's a little. There are the letters there, and you can see that they have a little retractable USB dongle here, so that you can plug it in. It doesn't come with a charger brick or anything. I guess you can just plug this into any computer or any existing charger brick and let them charge that way. And it looks like they use 1 amp. So for instance, you know those small iPhone chargers versus the big ones? You have to use the small ones. You don't want to use the big one, the big 2 amp ones. You want to use the 1 amp ones. And likewise, if you're in your car or something, sometimes you see 2 USB ports and one of them will say 2A and 1A. The 1A is for like small devices like this, and then the 2A is a lot more electricity. You might damage your product if you plug in a small product like this into the 2A, so you have to be careful with that. You want to stick with 1 amp. Okay, and then there's more information about, usually any product like this will tell you if it's 1 amp or 2 amp if you just read all the details. And I have already checked on this, and I know it's 1 amp. So it might take a little longer to charge, but you'll preserve the health of your batteries if you do it the right way. Okay, so black with black. Let's just see if they match. What do you guys think? Looks like they match, right? What do you guys think? They match? Yeah, I think so. Okay, now let's check out the white ones, shall we? I like this. Look at this little magnetic flap here. Cool. By the way, these were $30, like I said, from Best Buy. And there was a whole range. There was like 5 different Jlab headphones that looked similar to these, and you can just keep climbing in price, and these are the lowest ones. I don't know why. I mean, I think that's such a bargain. That's I don't think this pair looked much worse than the others at all. Granted, the others did have a lid that closed and all that, but you know what? I'm okay with this. And you know what? If you're getting a set for your kids or something, and you want them to have their own independent headphones for listening privately while they work without creating a lot of noise pollution in the house, and at the same time you get to buy them wireless headphones. I mean, a lot of wired headphones cost $30, $40, $50, $100. So for a nice quality pair from Jlab, it's not a no-name brand. Jlab is a brand. They've been doing well lately. So for $30 to be able to buy a wireless pair of headphones, I think that's definitely something to consider. I think it's almost as exciting as the whole iPad getup in itself. Okay, so white once again here, and here's the shape. You can see they come with these little earpiece covers on, and here it is. This one has a little R, the little magnetic, what would you call them, connector pieces there. And if you look in there, you can see, and it's got the same thing, the little USB connector. Okay, these give you 5 hours of continuous playback. Not bad. How does that compare to the expensive ones? I don't know, maybe around the same, maybe a little less, I would say. It's close though. It's definitely comparable. And you know, with a brand new iPad, a pair of headphones like these would go a long way, I think. Now, let me also mention, these iPads have incredible sound quality. Loud speakers, 4 speakers, 1, 2, 3, 4 speakers with bass. It's just a gorgeous iPad. Let me just keep saying that. I really love this iPad. Okay, so here are the headphones to match. I'm going to go ahead and connect everything and set everything up and take everything for a test drive. What do you think? Oh, wait, hold on. You know, I would be surprised if there isn't, you know, those earbud coverings? Yep. A little baggie of earbud covers, which are different sizes. I'm sure the black ones have it as well. Yep. So if you have big ears or small ears or medium ears, you are covered. So these are removable. You can take these off of your headphones and clean your headphones every once in a while. Just a thought, just an idea. I'm just saying. You don't have to. I'm not saying you have dirty ears. I'm just saying. Okay. Okay. Shall we continue this in a moment? We'll be right back. But wait, there's more. I didn't mention the case that I chose for each of these iPads. Now, if you look underneath each of these boxes, you'll see a case. Now this is a really special case I chose just for these iPads. The reason why I choose a case usually is because I always protect my expensive merchandise. When I buy an awesome iPad like this, I want to keep it scratch free. I want to keep it beautiful. I want to keep it clean. So I always pick out a nice case that feels good, that protects the iPad, that looks good. Looks good might be my main priority. It has to be a great looking case. If it's not great looking, I keep looking. So this particular case is a little bit outside of my usual comfort zone. I usually like the very sleek, thin case for me personally. In this situation, this case is a little more robust. It covers the front and the back of the iPad. We're going to open it up and take a look. But this case is really more of a power case. You know, one of those like OtterBox style cases where it's like waterproof and it's got a plastic shield for the screen, so if you write with a pencil, it won't carve up the screen. You ever look at your iPad after drawing on it for a few months, you're like, oh my God, it's covered in scratch, full of scratches. It's full of scratches. How and why did this happen? Well, in this case, get it? In this case protects the iPad. Front and back. It's got a little stand and all that, and it's a really hard, durable plastic. Let's open it up and take a look. But wait, there's more. Before I open up this case, I nearly forgot. I did not show you the rest of the contents of the box, so let me just check. Okay, the stickers and the manuals and all that, and then, the charger. Now, the charger is not your usual iPad or iPhone charger anymore. They have moved on up to the USB-C cable. Which is a thinner, well, I don't know that the cable's thinner, but the connection, well, the connection's not really thinner either. But the bandwidth on these cables is so much more. What does the bandwidth mean, you might be asking? Okay, how do I explain this in a normal way? A normal way might be saying like, okay, take 20 of these other normal iPhone and iPad chargers, the Apple chargers that we all have, the lightning bolt that we all know and love, that we're used to for the many years, and then compare it to the new USB-C cable. It's like taking those 20 cables and tying them all up and somehow magically squishing them together and taking all that power and speed that those 20 cables would give you, and voila, you have this magic super USB-C cable, which has the capability to charge much faster. It can charge bigger devices like laptops and bigger tablets. It can even charge game systems. It can be used as a power cable. This USB-C cable is capable of transporting much more power and much more data. So if you're transferring photos and videos and whatnot, and you're on devices that are compatible with USB-C, and you're getting maximum USB-C performance, then you are playing on a whole different ball field, my friend. USB-C, it's the future. All devices are using it now, not just Apple devices. It's common among many other devices and laptops. It's called USB-C, and here we have it on the iPad Pro. This is super important. This is huge. I'm guessing phones and iPads from now on are going to start moving to the USB-C world. And here we go. Some of the first devices from Apple to have them. And this is huge. Okay, now let's go back to opening and using the iPad case. But wait, there's one more thing. Before I open the case and start setting up these iPads and take you for a test drive through them, there's one more thing I wanted to mention about these headphones. Now, these headphones, we talked about the value and we talked about them being wireless and hopefully they have good sound quality and they charge really nicely right here in these cases. But there's one more huge thing on my mind about these headphones. If I take these headphones out of the case and that's all I have to do for them to turn on and connect, and I just plug them into my ear and everything works well, then I'm going to be super happy. These are going to be almost just as good as AirPods if that's the case. If, however, I have to take them out and hold the power button and turn them on and make sure they're connected each time or anything like that, then that's going to be a huge headache, and I don't think I'm going to be too happy with these headphones. So that's really huge for me. Okay, now let's move on to the next part of this, shall we? All right, so let's move on to the case. This is a case made by a company called Supcase or Supcase. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. But Supcase makes many cases, and this one is called the Unicorn Beetle Pro. There's also a few other strange cases with strange names, but I know that this one is one of their highest ranking ones. And for this iPad, worth it, I would say. Okay, now I'm going to open this thing up, and actually, I'm going to attempt to put the iPad in the case right now with you. So let's see if it's a complicated, difficult process, or if it's simple and anyone can do it. Now I'm just going to open all this up. Okay, I'll be with you in 1 second. Okay, so it's a multi-layer thing. It's a multi-step process. So I have to peel the rubber off of the edges here. So you can just pry it open. It's a little tight. There we go. And once you get one piece off, it should be easier to get the rest of it off. But it really clips on tight. Now that's good and bad. I mean, that's good because it's really going to protect the iPad. But is it bad because it's hard to take on and off? Well, you know what? Once you put your iPad in here, you're really not taking it off, I'd say, very often. So you want it to be in there, and you want maximum protection for it. So I guess it shouldn't be too much of a big deal to you that it is difficult to get it off. Okay, so let's take a look. It has these heat dissipating hexagons inside. It's a little softer on the inside, but on the outside it's a lot rougher. You can see the cutout hole for the camera here. In fact, this also has a space on the side for the Apple Pencil. You know, you get much more out of these iPads when you use the Apple Pencil, and so I thought a case that has a space for the pencil would be wise to choose, because at some point, if you have the pencil, you're going to want it tucked away neatly and safely in the case, so you're not running around looking for the pencil and wondering where you left it or anything like that. Instead, it'll be right there, charging all the time, safely tucked away with the iPad. And if you don't have a pencil, you know what? It's just a little extra space anyway, so it's okay. And on the back here, you can see that if you just pop this latch out, that this latch will let you lock it into place, and then you can kind of put the case up like a picture frame. You don't exactly get a lot of angles. For instance, if you want it like almost 90-degree angles like this, you can't. Maybe you can put a book under it like that, and then, you know, wedge it higher up. But, you know, it's a simple case. It's giving you a lot for a little, so not bad. But more importantly, like we said, it's got these soft rubber bumpers on the edges, and overall it's a hard protective case all around. Okay, so now it's time to put the iPad in the case, and hopefully the iPad doesn't get scratched up and beat up on its way in. Now, I wish there was a black and a white version of the case to go with the whole theme of everything, but unfortunately that's where the color coding had to stop. It was only available in black. They're both black. So once these iPads get banished away to eternal darkness within their case, you may not even be able to tell whether they're silver or space gray at all. So that means we should take another good, closer look at them before we tuck them away, never again to be seen. So take a good look at that. They're both just gorgeous in their own right. So here they are. Let's take a look. I know when I turn it, the angle of the lighting kind of makes them more or less visible. So let's see if we can't get some nice, clear visuals on them. It's a nice aluminum texture. It's like a metal. It's not glass and it's not plastic. But there you have it. And these colors are definitely new. I know they've used these names of these colors before, but, well, maybe not the space gray. The space gray laptops and other iPads have looked very much like this, but this silver is a new silver. It's a little brighter, a little lighter, a little more frosty looking than previous silver models. So again, together they both just look great side by side, and now it's time to tuck them away in their protective cases. Are you ready? Okay, just gonna take out my trusty microcloth fiber towel, and the reason why I have this is because any dust particles on the screen are going to create bubbles, and they're going to be visible underneath the case or underneath the screen protector anytime, and these are really soft, and for some reason they don't leave dust particles behind the way a regular towel or a paper towel or a tissue would. So you always want to use these, and I know sometimes they come with a device or something and then you throw them out, but if you ever get a microcloth towel with something as a gift or whatever, put it away somewhere safe and make sure you know where it is for later, for moments like these, so you can wipe down your devices before encapsulating them in their cases. Okay, and I don't know if you can tell, you probably won't be able to tell from where you're at, but dust free is the way to be right now. It looks really good, super clean, no particles. I'm also going to give the case a little wipe down. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to wipe outwards. And I actually have two of these. I'm going to shake the dust off of it. Give it another wipe. Wiping down the back of the iPad is not quite as critical as wiping down that screen. Because remember, once you get it trapped in that case, you want it to look its best and be its cleanest, because that's how you'll see it all the time, and you won't get fingerprints on it once it's already inside. Okay, that's about as clean as I think I'm going to be able to get it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put it in the case without accumulating any new dust. Okay, now this case is counterintuitive. I'm not going to put the iPad in here and then cover it with the screen. It actually operates the opposite way. So let me just put this right here. So actually you take the screen cover part of the case and you lock it onto the iPad, and then you put it in the other case. So let's do it together. Let me just give the screen inside a little wiping. There's probably nothing here, but that's okay. Okay, and now I want to make sure that the charger port lines up with the charger port here. So it does. And then I'm just going to kind of put them face to face with each other. Nice and easy. Ooh, okay. So what I want to do now is get the clips around the iPad. So I'm going to start with the bottom half over here. And if I kind of just push the corner in, there we go. I heard the little click. Now the sides, or this sides, I'm just going to carefully clip them in. Same on this side. Carefully clip them in, nice and gently. Okay, now these corners remain, and they're a little tougher. In fact, you don't want to just squeeze them and pinch them in. You actually kind of want to bend this part out and get it around, if that makes sense. So I'm going to pull it out to try to get the iPad in softly. There we go. And just get it to clip on. Yep. There we go. Nice and easy all the way around. And as I do a visual inspection, I can see that not all of them were locked in. But if I help them and go all the way around, they are locked in. I'm going to take my microcloth again. Actually, this is going to be exposed, as you can see, so I can wipe it down again afterwards. But I'm just going to give everything a little wipe down again. In case of germs or anything like that, or fingerprints or smudging. Just kind of get it nice and clean. Then get ready to encapsulate it. Okay, so here we go. Now for this part, you just want to use maybe the camera port as a reference so you know which way it goes, so that you're not just like, oh, which way is it going? Okay, and then I'm just going to put in the bottom part first. Okay, and then I'm going to get the rest of it in. Now notice how when I put the bottom part in, the plastic just wrapped right around it, almost like a magnet. And actually it clicks on, it seals its way on real well. And then I'm putting it in all the way around. Oh, it's super easy. You know what? This was not a difficult or terrible process for me at all to perform. I'm really satisfied with it, and the plastic was good. It was the right amount of softness so that I'm not worried right now that my iPad is in there all scratched up. I feel like my iPad is safe in there, and when I take out my iPad again at some point, the iPad is going to be clean, free of scratches or dents or smudges from the case. Okay, and now a satisfying moment where I peel. Hold on, first let me close this. Okay, and now where I peel the screen cover, give it a little wipe, and now I can toss my iPad as it is protected, but I won't do that. But if I did or something happened by accident, it would be protected. So as you can see all around, I have the spot for the pencil, the iPad is protected, and if I'm going to watch something, I can do that just by setting it down. iPad Pro in the house. Okay, is it time to do the same for the silver one? I think it is. But instead of putting you through all that again, let's do it like this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah, that was much quicker and easier, wasn't it? And now, of course, peeling it off. Okay, so now that we have both iPads encapsulated and protected, we're going to do a couple of quick test drives. 1, I want to hear the sound of the speakers. 2, I want to try the headphones. And 3, anything that can show me the performance of these iPads compared to the performance of their competitors and their predecessors. All right. I have no space to work. All right, guys. So I just finished setting up both iPads, and I finished testing the headphones. The headphones work as soon as you take them out of the case and put them in your ears. They automatically connect to your iPad after you do the connection process just the first time, and then after that they always know when to connect to your iPad, and that's when you take them out of the case, and they disconnect when you put them back in the case. This is huge. Okay, the speakers on the iPads are incredibly loud. The animation of the display, the 120 Hertz, is incredibly smooth, and there is no comparison between the iPad Pro and the previous lower end models of all the iPads out there. As for other tablets for different manufacturers, I haven't delved too deeply into many of them out there, but I cannot imagine that any of them can compete with what I've seen here today. So with that, I would like to say that I highly recommend the iPad Pro 2020 model. I still recommend the iPad Pro 2018 model as well, but there are some notable and significant differences in the 2020 model version. The first of them being the LiDAR sensor, which detects distance on objects, since there is a new augmented reality system and set of software that is already out, and many new software to come that will be utilizing that sensor. That's a huge difference, as well as the quality of the front-facing selfie camera along with the back-facing ultra-wide dual camera. The setup on the new iPad really leaves very little room for improvement or anything else to be desired, and I think you are really future-proofing yourself for many years to come if you just go with the iPad Pro 2020 model. The only question is, will you go with the 11-inch or will you go with the 12.9-inch? And of course, will you go with the silver or will you go with the dark gray? Decisions. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to this comparison between the silver and space gray models of the iPad 2020 Pro models today. I appreciate your feedback and comments. Thank you very much for dropping in. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.